That being said, now we will move on to my opinion of what makes a good dog. So a good dog is there and fits into my life, not the other way around. A lot of people will accommodate their life and center them around a dog or something else because it gives their life purpose and meaning. I'm not that type. I think you should prioritize your family, and that's the most important thing. And dogs are not humans. They are completely different. This does not mean that I don't treat my dogs well. I treat them as good as possible. And one of the things to do so is to treat them as what they are, dogs, and not humanize them, because dogs have different needs than humans do. So that's one. So I have a family, so I have a wife and 2 children, so the dog should fit in there. One example, my wife is not extremely big or extremely strong or heavy, so as an Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier male of around 20 kilogram up to 25 kilogram depending on the condition is quite hard to master. Even for an adult male of not very athletic premises, it will be a handful, let alone a woman of around 50 kilograms. So please take this into consideration. I'm not saying that it cannot be done, but it's a different type of strength because they are so much heavier. These 2 dogs combined weigh a lot less than my single Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier did. So if you get a Patterdale Terrier, you in its essence get half of the strength of an Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which makes it a lot more accessible also for my wife to walk the dog. The same applies to my children. I have 2 teenagers which are approximately the same size as my wife, and of course they will grow, but still it makes it a lot better that they can also manage the dogs because they can manage its strength easier. Again, I'm not saying that it cannot be done, but it's a different situation, especially in a conflict situation, that you, for example, have another dog loose who's trying to attack your dog. And I'm not saying that you have to, but if you want to pick up that your own dog who is struggling to get also to the attacking dog, it might be quite an how do you say this? Quite a struggle, especially for my wife and children. Another thing to consider if you have a social life, you also want a dog that accepts other humans, so is human friendly in nature. I don't want a dog that barks a lot, also for my family, because we live in a neighborhood, we're not living on a farm, that you have all the room to yourself. And also I personally like it a lot more that a dog only barks when there's really a need, instead of overly barking. It's like the cry wolf team. If you cry wolf all the time, they will not come when there's really a wolf there. Also, I like a dog, even if they are smaller, because these dogs are a lot smaller than Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which I also like a lot. The smaller size makes it easier to make them fit in, also in smaller spaces if needed. Also, it makes it easier to take, for example, to an Airbnb, because they are not that big and they are small dogs to consider. Another thing is, smaller dogs of course take a little bit less feed to feed them, so you can easier have 2 dogs of this size than 2 dogs of a bigger size. That being said, smaller dogs eat more per kilogram than bigger dogs do, because they are a lot more active, which I like as well. And smaller dogs also have the benefits that they mature a lot faster. So some people say, yeah, I love that puppy stage so much, but also with this type of dog you're able to have already a lot more activities at a younger age, and also can continue to do so at a higher age, because normally they live longer and live longer in good health. And about the puppy part, these dogs are still by many mistaken to be pups because of their size, because they are a lot smaller than, for example, Steffi does. So there are benefits on both sides, but I like the benefits of these smaller dogs, small to medium dogs, a lot more. Another thing is that these dogs are no man stoppers, but they have a lot of bravery because they come from working lines and they are used to deal with quite opposition. Foxes, badgers, raccoons, groundhogs, nutria, even hawk. So you can imagine that this is quite a capable breed, even though they are quite small. Also, if you look at this male, you see no major weaknesses. For example, its neck is almost as thick as his head, and they still also have very strong legs. Of course, the female is everything a lot more elegant, but she has the benefit that she can keep the highest speed for a longer time. She's more like, if you want to, she has more of a Bedlington Terrier infusion as you compare it to the male. So different body type altogether. Also, because they are smaller dogs, they are in actual circumstances a lot better at many tasks. So for example, if they have to chase some vermin, a smaller dog can follow them to very narrow crevices, for example rats, whereas your bigger dog has the same force to apply to take care of the rodent. Almost, not that much benefit, but they are a lot harder to chase them when it becomes a lot tighter. So next to that, I like a dog that's easy. So I want to have fun with my dog without the drawbacks. So for example, one of the drawbacks that is associated with a longer coat is that they often smell a lot more like dog, which I do not like. And also they take a lot more fluid, for example rain, mud, sand, etc. in their coat. Whereas this coat, this smooth coat, just pushes the dirt off and also doesn't absorb water, which I find very beneficial for our lifestyle. So even if they are quite dirty, one big stroke with a towel and you're done. So that's a big benefit. And even if you have a walk and in the midst of the walk they get dirty, very often once you get home, so continue the walk, they already shed most if not all of the dirt off, which is a big benefit as well. Another benefit is pure personal, that I like to see the muscle definition, which you can see a lot easier with a smoother coat. That being said, I also like natural type of dogs with a little bit more of a wolf coat, but there are some drawbacks that I don't like. Also, these dogs come without an undercoat, which is a big pleasant advantage as well. And then the color, because if you take your dogs in the car, there's nothing as terrible as getting all the, how do you say this, colors, completely opposite colors, hairs out of your upholstery of the car. And that I had with my Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which was completely white, and car interiors are normally more black, and you can imagine that this is a big benefit as well. Also this coat is a little bit different structured, so it does not penetrate the structure of the seats that much, which is another benefit, just from a practical sense. And these coats, this coat that I see here, my Patterdale Terrier, feels a little bit nice to the touch as compared to the Irish Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which has more of a, at least the dog that I had, there's more of that English Bull Terrier type of coat, if you want to compare it with a show breed. Another thing is that I like dogs to be stable. So even if they are very dominant, for example against a male, I like dogs to be stable so that you already know what you get and you don't get surprises. For example, a dog that snaps at a female. You know that he might snap at a male but not so much at a female or a youngster, which I like a lot because they will just tolerate it. And finally, I like my dogs to be brave and have a high pain threshold. And why is that? There's nothing more disturbing than you have a big bad dog in appearance, but that is not functional or brave enough to do its tasks. And also the higher pain threshold gives you a benefit. For example, if someone in an accident hurts your dog, they can manage it. Also, when another dog attacks it, they can manage it. They can hold their own, which I like, even though they might be a lot smaller than an average dog. Hey, Bobby, Spikey.